Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So when I got up today, I saw on social media that John Venus made a video about himself being no longer vegan. And I remember he made a video similar to this last year where he's considering eating eggs and he didn't. And I didn't make a video about it because he didn't ever quit being vegan. But this time apparently so, and he's serious. So I haven't watched this video yet. So we're gonna watch here. For me is my initial reaction to it. So let's jump into it.
I'm not here to judge you for doing whatever you feel is right for you, your family, and your community. I'm not here to tell you what is objectively right or what is wrong. And I'm not here to listen to your arguments and to your opinions either.
Well, what it sounds like John is already saying here is that his mind is already 100% made up and nothing that anyone may say to him will have any effect upon him. Interesting.
I am just here to tell you guys my experiences, my shift in perspective, my new life choice. The best way to start this is talking about when this whole question mark started coming into my life. When I became a dad, and even before when we were pregnant, a lot of responsibility came into my life. A lot of difficult questions that I had to answer. Different kind of philosophical ideas that I had to think through.
All right, so apparently John had a kid, and as a result of that, he had philosophical questions that entered his mind that have led him to not be vegan? I can't even imagine.
And I think we can all agree, or people who have looked into the scientific literature, we can agree that nutrition itself is a very confusing and not really understood topic. And it is, understood to a certain degree, but there are very many question marks. So,
okay, I think he's going for some kind of relativism here. At first I thought, since he's talking about philosophy, philosophical questions, he was disagreeing with the moral principle of veganism. It's a philosophical issue. You either agree or disagree with the statement that it's immoral to torture and kill animals needlessly for food, clothing, or any other purpose. But it sounds like that's not a problem for him. He's looking at nutrition somehow. Let's see.
You take a study and you use that study to come to a conclusion, but then another person with a whole another opinion will take that same exact study and come to the opposite conclusion to someone else. A lot of times when you're vegan...
Wait, so John, you're going for some kind of relativism here, saying, there's different ways of looking at things. Some people see a study and conclude it's good for vegan, others conclude it's bad for vegan. What are you talking about? I know there's such a thing as the preponderance of evidence, and the preponderance of the scientific research shows clearly that eating a plant-based diet, a vegan diet, is healthy for you. Sure, there's some outlier studies and some well-funded studies by the meat and dairy industries that say something else, but then again, that's the minority. So just because there's some studies that say something opposite of what you believe doesn't mean we should just all throw our hands in the air and say, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to believe anymore, man.
Especially for me, you are in this bubble. You are in the mindset of, we are doing something that is ethical. We're doing this because it feels right in every single way.
Yeah, as I said, vegan is a moral principle. You either agree with it or disagree with it. So are you saying now that you disagree with it, John? That's what I want to, hopefully you'll address this here.
And this is my perspective, and because this is my perspective, we're only going to listen to other people with the same perspective that have the same mission to eliminate animal suffering, to live a plant-based lifestyle, a vegan diet, and so on. So
no, that's on you. I listen to people from all different persuasions, all different ideas about morality, animal ethics, and nutrition. And I've come to the conclusion after making over 1,000 videos here on YouTube that these arguments against veganism just don't hold water, even on if you're looking at it on a moral level, if you're looking on a scientific level. So let's see where he's going here.
It becomes almost like you have to only look for answers and research that comes from people that is going to support your bias. Anything outside of pro-vegan becomes the opposite, right? So there is no neutral point of view that you can get to with this mindset. It's either vegan, pro-vegan, or it's anti-vegan and pro-meat eating and pro-murder and death and these things. And this is the mindset that...
All right, John, I mean, let's get real here, John. Are you saying that you've seen studies, you've read through studies carefully that somehow come to the conclusion that eating vegan is not good for you? Like it will give you certain diseases like heart disease, diabetes, stroke, the most common forms of cancer, that'll take years off your life. It's nutritionally deficient. Please, let's see these studies that are so convincing to you, or at least cast so much doubt in your mind that you're no longer vegan. I'm saying look at the preponderance of the evidence, John. Just because there are some studies that might call that into question, let's look what the greater body of evidence shows. And it shows clearly, it's plainly clear that eating vegan diets are nutritionally adequate and helpful for you. Why do you think the American Dietetics Association, or the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics as they're now called, after reviewing the literature on this very subject, came out with their position that eating a vegan diet is nutritionally adequate for all people in all stages of life? And it's not this just them. You can look at the British Dietetics Association. This is very clear. I'm not sure what you're getting at, John. What are you referring to specifically?
I was in that mindset myself, so I know that is the dominant mindset for a lot of people. And I understand it. It's really, really challenging to be objective and try to disprove certain things. I have never claimed that the science, proves that a vegan diet, a 100% vegan diet, is the best for optimal health.
I mean, I always get confused when people are talking about this diet, the best diet in the world for optimal health. I just told you that the Academy of Nutrition Dietetics, through their research, came to the conclusion that vegan diets are nutritionally adequate and provide many healthful benefits and protection against diseases like I listed there. I mean, it's just this weird race to trying the best optimal diet. You already have one that is great. What are you trying to find, John?
But I truly believed it for the last 4 years. I think the last year I've been questioning a lot of things, but for the vast majority of the time that I was vegan, I really actually believed that it was optimal for human health, because that is what we're being sold. Big organizations like the American Dietetics Association.
Oh, okay. So now you're going to use that against them, that they're a big organization. I mean, yeah, it's true. They're a big organization. The world's largest group of health providers, healthcare professionals making this declaration. But why hold that against them? That actually is a bonus. It's a plus. It's not like there's some weird fringe hippie group of weirdos. They're the American Dietetics Association.
All that mixed together makes it extremely easy to just believe 100% that you are doing the right thing. And I'm not saying that it's a wrong thing, but it makes it easy not to question it and look at the opposite or another different point of view. After looking into the Dietetics Association, corporate ties, all these, different corruptions that are going on.
John, did I just hear you right? You just called out the American Dietetics Association as a corrupt organization. I mean, if we're talking about corruption and corporate money, I don't know why you're looking at these plant-based organizations. I mean, how much money really is there funding the American Dietetics Association, bribing them to arrive at their positions? Is there some broccoli industry, some sinister kale industry twisting their arms? If you want to talk about corporate influencing dietary recommendations, look no further than the meat and dairy industries, which use their lobbying influence to get their meals, their food put on the American diet recommendations. Our taxpayers here, as taxpayers, our money goes to fund the egg board and the dairy board so that these industries have more marketing money so that more people consume their products. How come there's no such thing for plants? I'm not sure what you're talking about, John, here as far as corporate influence and corruption in plant-based diets.
And looking at the science for, children especially, because this is the reason why I started questioning everything. There is extremely little science, and I am not convinced at all by the science that is used to support those claims. And I strongly...
Well, actually, there is plenty of science to support the claim that eating a vegan, 100% vegan diet is nutritionally adequate and healthful for children. I showed this position from the American Dietetics Association after they reviewed the literature in the subject. So are you saying, John, you said you're not convinced by the science. Are you saying you reviewed these studies and others, you read through them, look at their methodologies, look at their conclusions, and somehow disagreed with them? Or are you just saying stuff here, making stuff up? Like, show us, John, what studies have you reviewed that you've called into question about the nutritional benefits of plant-based diets for children or adults?
Strongly believe that we cannot, say for certain that one thing, something like the vegan diet, 100% vegan diet is going to be optimal for kids. We're all trying to come from a place of compassion and love and trying to make the world a better place.
All right, let me just stop you here, John. Your argument is all over the place, and this is really what John is saying here. I mean, let's just review this little chunk here. He's saying that he's not convinced about the science showing the healthfulness of vegan diets for infants and children. Okay, let's give him that. Let's just say that were true, which it's not, but let's just give him that. He's concluding from that he doesn't want to be vegan any longer. That doesn't follow. If really, John, you can still be vegan and perhaps not follow a vegan diet for your child if that's what you believe. I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying there is no logical connection between concluding that a vegan diet's not good for children and then saying that you as an adult are no longer vegan. That doesn't follow, John. It sounds like you're just using your child's story here as an excuse for you to not be vegan. You just say, I don't know if it's good for adults. I don't even know if it's good for kids, but I'm just not going to be vegan because I just don't know.
So I'm not saying, that this is a horrible and that I know that it's a dangerous thing. I'm not comfortable of dismissing, hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years of a certain, eating pattern and instead do something that requires supplementation to make possible, like B12, because again, I used to think that you can get B12 from the soil and water, and that there is no...
John, if you thought you could get B12 from the soil and water, now I see why you're talking as you do. I don't know who you've been following, some kind of woo-woo talk. I know of absolutely no vegan medical doctor, no vegan health professional that recommends getting your B12 from soil and water. I mean, maybe that was true, thousands of years ago, but that's why right now, in this day and age, it's recommended that most people just take a B12 supplement, whether you're vegan or not. And this is based on science. I've shown the study here many times where approximately 40% of adults in North America, adults, we're not talking about vegan, just regular people, are either deficient or dangerously low in their B12 levels. And therefore, that's why we should take B12 supplements. That has nothing to do with being vegan.
I have had some question marks because of personal experiences, because of my real life observations and, nutrient deficiencies in people that are very, very close to me. And
Are you talking about personal experience or friends there, John? I thought I've seen some of your blood tests here that you put up online for us all to see. And like mine, I remember yours being really good. So what are you talking about here? Some personal things that happened to you? Can you be a little more specific, John? I thought you were doing well on a vegan diet. Am I wrong?
I don't want to give any personal information, so I'm not going to talk in detail about any of that. And I just don't want to...
Well, that's convenient, John. Like I said, if you're having some kind of health difficulties, some nutritional deficiencies, which I didn't see in your blood test, you should really tell us that. You should share that, especially if you want us to truly believe your story. Because for people like me, and I have compassion. I have compassion for people who get ill. I'm not seeing any kind of illness here. You're just trying to being really vague that something bad might have happened to you. Tell us, John. Let us know what really happened. Why are you holding this back?
And if I don't feel comfortable with my kid being vegan, I cannot continue that lifestyle myself. Granted, I'll still, do everything in my power to do what I feel is best with my moral compass for the environment, the planet, the animals, and all of that stuff.
All right, so yeah, I was right there. His argument is this. He's not convinced about the science about vegan diets being healthful and nutritionally fine for children, despite there being science showing that. And he's refusing to show any debunkings of these studies. He's just saying that, yeah, I don't agree with the science for whatever reasons, and therefore, since I don't feel vegan diets are healthful and beneficial for children, I'm not going to be vegan myself. That's what I'm hearing, John. Am I wrong? Is that the argument you guys are hearing too? Kids shouldn't be vegan, therefore I shouldn't be vegan. I mean, again, that doesn't follow. If you truly want to feed your kid non-vegan, that's on you, but that doesn't necessitate that you need to eat animal products too. I know many people who's in their families, they're the only vegan. In fact, parents that feed their non-vegan children and other family members, yet they themselves are able to remain vegan. Why can't you do the same?
And I don't care if someone watching feels extremely offended, because it's not about you, it's not about me.
Yeah, you're right, John. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about needlessly killing animals. Why would you intentionally choose a lifestyle that necessitates killing animals needlessly for food when there's a lifestyle, a diet that science has shown, that is proven to be nutritionally adequate for all people? But you want to choose the one that necessitates the killing and torture of animals. Yeah, it's not about you, John. It's about the animals that you are now more than happy to kill because you're not sure about that science, because there's some conflicting opinions and you're not sure if it's good for kids, so you're going to eat and kill animals yourself. This doesn't make any sense, John. Yeah, it's not about you, it's about the animals.
Friends have kind of divorced themselves from me and not wanting to have anything to do with me anymore. And this is people who I thought were really good friends, and other friends, really very close friends, who said that that they respect my choice and everything like that, but they can't be seen with me publicly because that is bad for their image, because the vegan movement is so toxic and so judgmental. So, this is not an easy issue.
Oh my God, John. I mean, if someone doesn't want to be seen with you, they're the toxic person. I mean, just because there might be some bad vegans doesn't mean that it's valid to generalize to the entirety of vegans. Yeah, there's some jerk vegans out there. There's some jerk carnivores, jerk Mediterranean diets. There's just jerks of all kinds out there. So you're really saying that another reason, you're just giving a bunch of excuses here. You're saying another reason why you want to go vegan, besides that you don't think it's helpful for children, and that doesn't apply to adults, is that you find it socially challenging. You have bigoted friends who don't want to be in public with you and make you feel uncomfortable when you hang out with them, simply for the fact that you've made a dietary choice that is morally good, healthful for people, and great for the planet. They don't want to hang out with you for that. Maybe, John, you need some better friends, really. I mean, they're the toxic people who are being judgmental towards you because of a moral and dietary lifestyle choice. Really.
This is not an easy issue, and it's so sad that the vegan movement has so many people that are so judgmental and have such superiority complex. I'm not scared of getting flack for any of this. I've done this, several times in the past, and I just don't care. I'm just here sharing my opinions, and if people want to take my clips out of context and try to make me look like a fool, that's fine. It's been done.
Well, John, I'm not going to take you out of context here. I'm not going to re-edit it. I'm just playing your entire video straight through and responding to you and showing how, yeah, you are being a fool here, John. You haven't made any good arguments whatsoever. Let's review his arguments. I think I'm going to stop here. I've heard enough, So yeah, he's not sure if he wants to be vegan for the following reasons. One is that there's some studies that say vegan is good and others that say vegan is not good. So he throws his hands in the air and says, I don't know what to do now. Maybe vegan is not good. No, maybe you should throw your hands in the air and say, maybe not vegan is bad. I mean, just eating animal products isn't good for you. Why are you concluding from throwing your hands up there you're not going to go vegan anymore? I don't understand. Secondly, you're saying that because you're not convinced about the science that shows that it's helpful for children to be vegan, which you are not. You're an adult, John. You're saying that you as an adult are not going to be vegan. That makes absolutely zero sense. And the weakest argument of us all is that you have judgmental friends and therefore you don't want to be vegan because you find it hard to go out with these toxic people who make judgments about you. And then you just said right here at the end that there's so many judgmental vegans. Well, John, you just pointed out there's many judgmental non-vegans as well. So why would you want to hang out with them? Why do you want to associate with yourself with these people who you just said who are very judgmental? They're judgmental against you for making a personal decision that's morally good, and they're being mean to you about it. So nothing here that made any sense, John. If you'd like to talk about this some more, you should talk about this some more. If you want to talk to me, I'm just a YouTuber. It sounds like you're not convinced about the healthful benefits and the science behind plant-based and vegan diets. And I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think Dr. Garth Davis, he's a medical doctor, he's an author, wrote Proteinaholic. Given that you're a vegan influencer, at least a former vegan influencer here who is quitting, and you're quitting because you're not convinced about the science behind plant-based vegan diets, I suggest you have a conversation with Dr. Garth Davis. So you need to talk to someone who can convince you, or at least point you in the right direction, show you how to understand science, how there are some studies that might say vegan diets aren't good, but it doesn't mean that disproves the preponderance of the scientific literature out there, John. I think you're, for some reason, this is my guess here, you've somehow in your heart decided you don't want to be vegan anymore, and you're just making up excuses here. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna just end here. I know this video goes on another it's like 3-4 minutes here, and it's really not going anywhere. So anyway, guys, let me know if you know more. I don't really follow John. Let me know if you know what led him to this decision to no longer be vegan, because it really wasn't that clear. Even though he gave his story, I really don't understand it. So let me know if I misunderstood something, and yeah, hit like, share this video. And I guess that's it for this time, guys. So until next time, guys, let's keep it carb, baby.